Loving your enemies and doing good to those who hate you is illogical to the human mind. It goes against our instincts. It goes against everything we're taught. But Christ says clearly we are to love our enemies and those who wrong us and show them love. Now, how is this done? Well, it's done when we realize that the people who wrong others, the people who abuse and mistreat others, are not willfully bad. They're spiritually ill and should be treated like that. They should be treated as someone who is sick and not in full control of themselves. And once we look at our enemies and try to understand them as humans and what their experience is and what caused them to be like this and what perpetuates this. And once we realize that whatever wrong they do us has nothing to do with us, it's about them. Once that happens, forgiveness is possible and loving the enemy is possible in this sense. In the sense that, take Nixon. Nixon was a crook. Nixon was a corrupt politician. He was the president of the United States, and he committed high crimes and misdemeanors. And he also caused the Cambodian killing fields by bombing Cambodia, in which Pol Pot took over and killed millions of his own people. So how do you love Nixon? Well, I saw a film called Secret Honor by Robert Altman. It was a one-person film with one man playing Richard Nixon, living in exile in California after his resigning from the White House. And in it, the depiction of him was a desperate, tortured, twisted person who was so spiritually ill that all they could do was cause harm and destruction to the people around them. And when you see how sad they are, how sad Nixon was, you feel pity, you feel empathy. And then once that happens, love is easily cultivatable in that soil. You know, there's a great story in the Torah of Jacob and Esau. Jacob tricks his brother Esau and cons him out of his birthright. Jacob then spends most of his life terrified of the wrath of his brother Esau, who he cheated. And one day, Jacob is going through the desert with his people, and news comes that Esau and his people are approaching. And Jacob is terrified because he's sure that Esau will get revenge and destroy him. But when Jacob faces Esau, Esau says, I'm not mad at you. I forgive you. I made my own fortune. I made my own way. You are forgiven. That is the essence of what Christ is talking about in loving your enemies. Look, we're all just scared children. We're all just scared children lashing out at each other. And when we see it as that, there's no reason to be hurt and angry anymore. Because the person is so obviously hurt and silly. And it is then that we can forgive. And it is then that we can turn the other cheek. And it is then that we can love our enemy.